What have you seen genuinely shitty people do that they thought was perfectly acceptable? Cheat on their husband with the man that was sent to prison for sexual abusing said couple's daughter. To edit, it's not a TV show, it's real life. They're divorced, the daughter was his stepchild and she's with her biological dad. A lot of dogs over where I live froze to death over the recent blizzard, because their owners left them outside in the chilling winds and snowstorms. Their reasoning: I don't want that wet dog smell inside my house. I wish people like this could get banned from ever having pets. An ex-friend thought that she was justified to cheat on her boyfriend because she was paranoid and thought, what if he's fucking someone? When he was doing exactly what he said he was studying. He had a double major he was completing, and this bitch cheated because he was working so hard. Then, because she told me and I gave her shit, she offered to have sex with me too so I wouldn't tell him I'm a guy. Well, I told him and refused her offer. Honestly, the way my in-laws treat my wife. Unless she murdered the family dog before we met and they're forever punishing her, there is no reason for how shitty they are to her. And if you call them out on it, they act as if they're so confused and insulted that it makes me think they truly think it's acceptable. I worked in retail sales. A guy used to come in all the time. He was a veteran and clearly suffering from dementia or PTSD and always had a caseworker with him. He would come in and look for gifts for his mom, and someone would always try to talk him into signing up for credit. Luckily, his caretaker would look out for him and talk him out of it. One day he came in and said the program that paid for his caseworker was slashed in funding and he only had her 2 days a week instead of 5, but it was Monday and he goes to the mall on Mondays. A sales associate not only signed him up for credit, but maxed out his 5K balance knowing full well he didn't have the faculty to pay the bill. She made her sales goal that year and got a trip to Florida. Wow, this blew up. Thanks for the medal. A few responses to some questions. I reported this to HR. Nothing happened. I talked to our regional manager and when she approached the salesperson she claimed not to know the situation. She did. This guy came in every Monday. We knew. Also, she was a major and top salesperson for over 20 years. She isn't going anywhere. Always blaming others and not taking responsibility. Using a disposable barbecue on the beach and leaving it half buried in the sand for someone to step on with their bare feet. Happens all the time on the beach near me. Insult their children when they don't excel at X activity. Visiting back home and ended up listening to my sister beg my mom not to get mad because she had a B+. My wife told my sister how awesome it was that she had all A's and a B. Mom immediately says it's not good at all and reams my sister. It's super frustrating. Treat the elderly in nursing homes badly. I work at a nursing home, and while I have a lot of awesome co-workers who are very good at their job, I also have a lot of trashy ones. To give an example, I one time overheard one of the patients say to a co-worker that she really needed to go to the toilet. This lady was in a wheelchair and needed help. My co-worker said, "Well, you're wearing a diaper, aren't you? Those can hold up to 8 liters. Just pee already." I was shocked. My co-worker went to have her smoke and I immediately helped the lady in the wheelchair. Yes, she did wear a special Tina pants, but a lot of my co-workers don't seem to understand that these kind of pants are to prevent accidents, not to encourage incontinence. The sad thing is, this kind of things are very hard to prove, especially when the patients have dementia like they do in the nursing home I work at. I have had multiple conversations with the manager about this kind of things, resulting into absolutely nothing done about it. I think the shortage in staff doesn't help with this problem. Edit, just a quick note, I got multiple reactions of people saying I should take it to the authorities. I have been on the verge of doing that multiple times, but you all are right, I will take action to report this neglect and abuse. This can't go on any longer. Thanks for all your responses. I worked in the office part of a warehouse. One of the gals that worked with me was super cool, so we ate lunch together every day. One day she goes to get her lunch from the fridge and someone else's lunch falls out. The container hits the floor and the lid pops off, spilling out the food. I was floored and disgusted when she scooped the food back in, put the lid on, and slid it back into the fridge. There was so much nasty in that floor, and when I brought it up she shrugged, saying they wouldn't be upset because they didn't know. I asked around and figured out who the lunch belonged to, told him what happened, and have him a little money to go buy something else to eat. She thought I was crazy for giving a shit. Say to my wife, well, at least my baby will go to heaven. We were at a weekly group session for parents of deceased children. This woman asked my wife how our son died, and replied with that when she found out he died of an overdose. Kid at the high school I graduated from had his friends film him, in the bathroom, pulling his pants all the way down to pee like an autistic kid who was in the bathroom at the same time does to make fun of him. While his friends were filming this, he decided it would be funny to pee on the autistic boy and ask to be spanked. He was the kind of kid who looks great on paper, but has the eyes of a cat strangler and is cruel in person. He obviously thought there was nothing wrong with what he did because he laughed and taunted the poor kid the whole time and posted it on social media, which led to him losing a full ride to a state college for swimming and his being expelled from school. Charges were pressed and he's currently awaiting a criminal trial to determine whether or not he'll end up a sex offender. One of my shittiest ex-friends stayed over with another friend after his parents kicked him out. My friend let him stay rent-free and he complained about everything. Complained about her cats, about not having a key, about not being allowed to stay longer when my friend had enough. He's long gone across the country and out of our lives now, thankfully. If you say something mean/cruel to someone you supposedly love and then follow it up with "I didn't mean it," but you do it over and over again, yeah, you really do mean it. Work colleague lets everyone else on the team do the work while he vanishes, or he does the odd bit of work. When someone calls him lazy, his response is that the company pays him for what he knows, not for what he can do. In other words, he picks the jobs he wants to do, which isn't very much. One girl I knew always took help from others in college. Afterwards she wasn't just unthankful, she started talking really badly about the people who helped her and actively made their lives worse. Insulting retail workers or servers. Yes, I'm sure it was 25% off, but the register isn't cooperating. But telling the person that they are a useless human being isn't gonna help the situation. I'm sure something can go wrong in your job that isn't your fault too, and being yelled at isn't gonna make you want to do it faster. Was serving an extremely rude lady through drive-through, but since we serve rude customers all the time, I was just acting normal. I hand her drink and then a straw. She proceeds to take the straw out of the paper sleeve and then just toss the sleeve out the window, and then just driving away. Just casual littering. Talk down to others who are blue-collar workers just because they are janitors or such. If I see that, I will go up to them and tell them, because I know the worker can't risk their job. Bullying or being condescending in general is just something I don't tolerate. Edit. These comments are awesome, guys. I'm glad we are all out there appreciating everyone. Working as a bagger in a grocery store. I was bagging a customer's groceries like any other day. When I bagged some raw meat, I noticed my hand was sticky. Looking at it, I had what looked like blood on my hand. Thinking it was the raw meat and the packaging had a cut, I checked it to see if we should get the customer a different package. The customer saw me doing this and smiled, informed me that the package was not damaged. The blood was, in fact, his. As he showed me his hand with a giant open cut on it. After discovering the horror, me and the cashier realized the blood was everywhere, and his wound was still leaking blood onto the ground. The customer laughed the entire time. Edit. Thanks for my first silver stranger, thanks to everyone for my most upvoted comment yet, and thank you everyone for the happy cake days. Cut in line because they're in a hurry. as if their schedule somehow trumps the need to conform to the line. Verbally abusing people who work in retail or food service.